Good afternoon, Pankhurst class. This is your Friday maths lesson. I know that some of you found yesterday's maths lesson really quite tricky, so I'm going to spend the first part of this video going over that first, and then we'll go over on today's one. Today's one is also quite difficult. Just try your best, and then we can just keep going over these things until you understand them. If you have any questions, just put them onto Tapestry, and we'll answer them as best as we can. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you. I'm going to start by looking at yesterday's work. So you were asked to use a part-whole model to help you solve some division questions. So remember we said division was like sharing. So here we've got the question 63 divided by 3. We used our part-whole model. Now, as I showed you in the lesson this morning, when we had 63 here, that is a number we're dividing by 3, but sometimes that can be quite difficult. So we've partitioned 63 into the tens and into the ones. So we've got 60 over here and the 3 over here. The same way that if I had this one, which is 96, I would partition it into 9 tens and 6 ones. It's exactly the same thing. So here I've got 60 divided by, and the number that I'm missing there is the number 3. And here I've got 3 divided by 3. So instead of having to do the whole 63 divided by 3, we split it up just to make it a little bit easier. Then we can use our table to help us. So I've got my tens column and my ones column, and I've got 3 rows. So if you imagine, like I said in class, these belong to 3 children. So let's imagine that this row here could be Wes's row, this row here could be Ritish's row, and this row here could be Jessica's row. So each child has a row, and then we need to split them up. So we'll start by splitting up the 60 into their 3 groups. So I've got my tens. So I should have 6 tens. So 1 for Wes, 1 for Ritesh, and 1 for Jessica. Now do it again. 1 for Wes, 1 for Ritesh, and 1 for Jessica. They're my 6 tens. Then I got my ones. I should have 3 ones, because that's how many ones I've got up here. So again, 1 for Wes, 1 for Ritesh, and 1 for Jessica. Now if I label these, so this one's going to be for Wes. This one was going to be for Ritesh. And this one's going to be for Jessica. So the question is, how many does each child get? And that will tell us our answer. So if I split 63 divided by 3, Wes gets 10, 20, 1. Ritesh gets 10, 20, 1. And Jessica gets 10, 20, and a 1. So my answer for 63 divided by 3 is 21. Now that works well for this one because 63 can divide by 3. If they couldn't divide by 3, there would be extra numbers left over, or Jessica might end up with more than Ritesh, but 62 divides by 3, so they all get the same amount. So my answer for is 21. Let's try another one. Okay, so then we had 96 divided by 3. So you need to think about how I'm going to partition 96 to help me. So we do our tens first. So I've got 9 tens. So my question over here is going to be 90 divided by, and again, it's 3. And then here, I've done my 90, I've got my 6 to do. So I'm going to do 6 divided by 3. So that's what I'm working out. So we're going to do our 90 first. So I should have 9 tens. And again, I've got 3 rows because it's divided by 3. If I had 4 divided by 4, I'd have 4 rows. So we're going to split our 90. So I'm going to have 10, 10, 10. So that's 3 tens. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Now I'm going to do my ones. So I should have 6 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then we look at how many is in one row. 10, 20, 30, and 2 ones. So it's 32. And I can see from looking at that they've all got the same amount, so that also works. So the answer is 32. Okay, let's try looking at the questions that you were asked to do at the end. So I'm only going to go over one question of each of these, so that if you haven't had a chance to do it, or if you didn't understand it, you can then continue it with the other questions left over. So question 1 yesterday, it said Vihan uses place value counters to solve 84 divided by 2. So here's his counters, and he's got 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So he's got 84 there. He's dividing it by 2, so he's splitting it into 2 groups. And he's done that, so he's put 4 10s and 4 10s, 2 1s and 2 1s. Now the question says, use Vihan's method to calculate these. Now I'm only going to do 84 divided by 4, because I'd like you to try and do the other ones if you haven't had a chance already. So we're just going to focus on, 84 divided by 4. That's the question we're going to focus on. So I'm going to use the same method. So first of all, how many 10s have I got? Good, I've got 8 10s. So I've got them here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. How many 1s have I got? Good, I've got 4 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, Vihan's first question up here, he had divided by 2, so he had 2 groups. Now we've got 4, so we have to split it into 4 groups. So I'm going to draw my 4 groups. So I've got 1 group, 2 groups, 3 groups. I ran out of space at the bottom, just going to add one up here. 4 groups. Now I need to share them, dividing it into 4. So I'm splitting this into 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now I've got my 1s. 1, 2, 3, 4. Then we need to see how many is in one box, because that's what it's looking at. I've got 10, 20, and then 1. So the answer to my question is 21. That's using Vihan's method. So now if you haven't done them already, I'd like you to now try the same method for 66 divided by 2 and 66 divided by 3. You can draw the boxes, you can draw the counters, anything that you need to help you, that's absolutely fine. I'd like to try those two if you haven't done those already. And then question 2, it said Maisie uses a place value grid and a part whole model to solve 66 divided by 3. So up here, 66 divided by 3, she split like we did earlier on. She split into her 10s and her 1s. So she had 60, and then she had 6. And she split them into 3, so she's got her 3 rows, and that's how she's done it. So we're going to try 69 divided by 3. And then you're going to try these two if you haven't done them already. So my part whole model, I've got 69 divided by 3. On your part whole model, can you please write for me what's going to go in these 2 circles? Pause the video and try and do that for me. What's going to go in those 2 circles? Okay, so in this circle, we've got our 10s. So I've got 6 10s. So I'm going to do 60. And then it's going to be 60 divided by 3. And then over here, I've got 1s. I've got 9 1s. So it's going to be 9 divided by 3. Well done if you got that answer, that's really good. So that tells us how we're going to do it. Now I need to draw my table. My table is going to have my tens and my ones, just like this one up here. So I'm going to draw, you would use a ruler because you're going to be drawing this, or you can use a straight edge if you've got one at home. Draw my table here. I'm going to split it down the middle, just like the green one at the top. And in this column are my tens. And in this column are my ones. Okay, talk to an adult or talk to your teddy or talk to a person in your room. How many rows am I going to need? I'm dividing 69 divided by 3. How many rows am I going to need? Good. If you said 3, fantastic. That's how many I'm dividing it by. If you look at the top, if my question says divided by 2, I'll only need 2 rows. So I need 3 rows for this. Now I've made these lines a little bit too long. So if you've done that, you can just rub them out if you have a rubber. And you've got 3 rows because that's how many we're sharing it by. Oh my goodness, having a bit of a nightmare. Okay, now I need to share them. So I'm going to do my 60 first, which is my 6 tens. So 1 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then my ones. How many ones should I have? 9. Good. So I need to share my 9 ones. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. My 9 ones. Fantastic. So that is, we then need to look at how many is in one row. So this one row has got 10, 20, and 1, 2, 3, 23. So my answer is 23. Now I'd like you to try it with 96 divided by 3 and 86 divided by 2. You need to do your part whole model first and your table. If you've done those already, fantastic, well done, and I'll mark them on tapestry. Now it can be tricky, okay? They are tricky questions and it is quite a tricky method of doing it. So if you need any help, just ask, but just really try as best as you can to draw the things you need to. If you need to rewind the video and watch that again to go over these questions, that's absolutely fine as well. We're going to go on to today's lesson, but I know that Mrs. Mercer or I are available next week to help if we can for any of your maths questions. So today's learning objective is, can I divide 2-digit numbers by a 1-digit number and exchange between the tens and the ones when required? So these questions today are going to be more of if it doesn't go into the number of rows equally. So if each one isn't going to end up with an equal amount, sometimes we might need to split our tens differently. Let's have a look at some examples. So here it says, how could we use a pictorial representation to divide 45 into 3 equal groups? Have a go at doing this on your scrap piece of paper or whiteboard. So I've got 45 divided by 3. Now I'd like to pause the video and try to split 45 into 3 boxes. You can draw your tens and you can draw your ones and have a go at doing it and see what you notice. So you can start with your tens first and then divide your ones and see what you notice. So pause the video now. Okay, let's try it together. So you may notice it gets a bit tricky because you've got 4 tens, but you've only got 3 boxes. So I'll show you what we're going to do. If I split my tens, 1, 2, 3, then I've got 1 left over. So because I've got that 1 left over, I'm going to turn that into ones. So I can split my ones across here instead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've still got 1 left, but that's okay because we've still got 5 to divide into 3. So this 10 we've used now, so I can delete this 10 because we've split that into our ones here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I can delete that one there. Now we've got our 5 ones and the one we had left over from that 10. So I can carry on dividing that. 1. So that's all our 10s there now. And now we've got a 5 to divide. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just check that it's all equal. They've all got 1 10 and they've all got 5 ones in them. Fantastic. So now I look at how many is in one box. Got 1 10 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my answer for 45 divided by 3 is 15. Now that was tricky because we had to split our last 10 into ones. So we're going to do some more practices of those. So now we've got 56 divided by 4. So we've got a place value grid to help us this time instead of doing it in the boxes like we did here. So we're going to use a grid. So can you, on your whiteboard or on a scrap piece of paper, can you draw your 10s and your 1s columns? And you've got 4 rows because it's divided by 4. You need to have 4 rows. I'd like you to pause the video there and draw that for me. Sorry, I had to stop sharing my screen because my battery was about to die, so I had to quickly just go and get a charger. So I'm now going to share my screen again, and then we're going to carry on going over it. So hopefully you've now drawn your table to help you, and then we're going to draw our counters to help. So we look at this, we've got 5 10s and 6 1s. I'm going to start by sharing my 10s, which I can't do because this is in front. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Now I've got 1 left over. Talk to the adult in your room or your teddy bear. What could I do with that 10s now? Okay, I'm going to turn that into 10 1s instead. So I don't need that 10 anymore. I'm going to turn it into 10 1s and share my 1s. So I've got 10 1s. I'm going to delete that one. And I'm going to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's my 10 1s all shared. So I've done my 50, but now I've still got my 6 to share. So let's go. I'm going to start here because I can see there's already 2 extra in that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now I think what I've done there is I've added a few too many 1s in there, so we don't need that one. Okay, let's check. So I've got 10, 20, 30, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56. There's 56 altogether. I've just turned one of those 10 counters I had earlier into my 1, so it works it out. Now I need to count how many is in each row. So pause the video. I'd like to work out how many is in one of these rows. If you got 14, well done, that's fantastic. So we've got 1 10 and we've got 4 1s. Okay, so again, it is quite tricky, but we need to think carefully about our 10 1s. Our 1 10 is the same as 10 1s. Okay, let's have a look. So now it says Vedant uses a similar method to divide 42 by 3. So it says pause the video. I'm just going to talk you through it carefully first, and I'm going to ask you to pause the video. So he's got a part whole model here, and he's got 42 divided by 3, but he's split his 42 into 30 and 12. And the reason he's done that is because he knows that 30 goes into 3. Sorry, 3 goes into 30 and 3 goes into 12. That's why he split it that way. Because if he splits it into 40 and then 2, 3 doesn't go into 40 and 3 can't go into 2. So that's why he split it that way. I'd like to just pause the video, just have a look at that carefully for me, and also have a look at your 10s and your 1s counters to see how we split it up, and then I'll go through it with you. Okay, so in these questions, the main number, so in this case it's 42, you need to be able to split into two numbers that go into the number that you're dividing it by. So 42, like I said, they've split it into 30 and 12. Then we can use that to help us. So 30 divided by 3. Now they've done that for us here. 10, 20, 30. They've divided it into 3 rows. So how many is in one row? 30 divided by 3 is 10. You can see there's 1 10 in there. Then you have a look at the 12. So they've done that for us. The 1s here have been split up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. They split them into 3 rows. How many is in one row? 4. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. You can then add them up because we want to put them all together. So I now can add my 10 and my 4, which is my answers here, which equals 14. So 42 divided by 3 equals 14. Okay, let's have a look. Let's try this one then. So now I've got 95 divided by 5. Now I know, and I'll show you how I know that if I split this into 90 and 5, if I share 90 5 ways, I'll show you what happens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Doesn't work because this bottom one has only got 1 10 and the others have all got 2. So that's not going to work. So you need to think carefully, how could I split 95 into 2 numbers where 5 goes into both of them? And I'll give you a clue. If I remove these 4, 2, 3, 4, that does work. So for that reason, I could have over here 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I could have 50 divided by 5, because 50 does work. If I have 50, but my total is 95, what have I got left over to divide by 5? Have a think. You've already got 50. What else do you need to add to 50 to get to 95? Pause the video and see if you can work it out. Okay, it's quite tricky. 50 in my head, 60, 70, 80, 90, so that's 40 more, and the 5. So it's 45 is needed. So then I'm going to have 45 divided by 5. Now, you should all know, if you know your 5 times tables, we know that 5 goes into 45 because it ends in a 5. Or if it ends in a 0, it also goes into it. So that one's a little bit simpler. So that's how I split it up. I'm going to move my 10s out of the way so we can start again and look at it carefully. Put our 10s down there. Okay. So this is how we're looking at it. We've got 50 divided by 5, which is what we've put over here. 45 divided by 5, which we put over there. And then we can work out our answers. So first thing I need to do is split my 10s, which is 50. So let's split that again. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I've split that. 50 divided by 5, how many is in each column? 110. So 50 divided by 5 is 10. 45 divided by 5 now. Now this could take a while. So these 10s I've turned into 40 1s. So I'm going to delete these, because what I've done up here is I've made them into 40 1s. So I've done my 50. I've now got 45 1s to put out. This is why I needed my laptop charger, because I wasn't sure my laptop would last this long. So I've now got 45 1s to move over there. Oh, so you might want to fast forward this bit. This could take a while. You ready? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Whilst I'm doing this, you can draw your ones on your whiteboard or your piece of paper to check that you get the same answer as me. Okay, we're on 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, nearly there, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45. Now, I've got 45. Well done for sticking with me. Now, what I've learned from that is that I should have made my ones a lot bigger boxes for that. Okay, so I now have 45 altogether. So I'm now going to count how many I've got in each one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I've got 9 ones in each one. So just check that that was even in each one because it should be. So I know that my answer must be 9. Then I add them together. So 10, that's what I had as my answer up here, adds 9 equals 19. So 95 divided by 5 must be 19. And you can check that because you could do 19 times 5 to check your answer. Okay. I'm going to stop that for a moment. Okay, so now we're going to have a look at our questions. So this is your independent task. I'm going to read through the questions for you. Just try your best with them. Independent task. Trisha uses place value counters to divide 42 into 3 equal groups. So she's got 42 and she's splitting it into 3 equal groups. She shares the 10s first. Then she's still got that 10 left over. So she turns that 10 left over into 10 ones like we did right at the beginning. She then shares the ones. So 42 divided by 3 is 14. Use Trisha's method to calculate these ones. So remember, you might need to turn some of your extra 10s into ones. Question 2. Annie uses a similar method to divide 42 by 3. So we've got 42 divided by 3. And we've used the part whole model. We split it into 30 and 12, like we did earlier on. 3 then goes into 30 and 3 goes into 12. So we've got our 30 and our 12 here. Use Annie's method to calculate these 4 number sentences. And the extension, it says Amir partitioned a number to help him divide by 8. Some of his working out has been covered with paint. What number could Amir have started with? So these ones you'd have to work backwards. If you're finding these ones tricky, maybe leave the extension for now. But I'd like some of you to try the extension because it can help you when you're working backwards to check your other answers. I know it's quite difficult. If you need to watch any more of the video, go back and watch any of it again. That's absolutely fine as well. Good luck. If you need any help, just write anything on Tapestry, or you can email the Year 3 emails and we'll do what we can to help you with any of your work. Mrs. Mirza will do her live on Monday, which is normally just to check on how you're doing, but she can also answer some of your maths questions if you need her to, or I'll be here as well to answer any on Thursdays and Fridays. Good luck. Have a lovely weekend, and I'll see you next week. Bye.